What's up, y'all? Welcome to Tabletop Bros. As you may have seen from some of the previous videos, I've been working on a Sigmarite Mausoleum Table build. It is 22 by 30 inches, the perfect size to play either Warcry or a kill team on. It's got a bunch of elevation and everything to it, and it was progressing along really nicely, and then I hit a big snag. I basically ran out of pieces fairly close to completion, so I had a couple options that I was looking at, and finally decided to pick up one more of these Sigmarite Mausoleum kits. So we're going to go ahead and unbox it together in case you haven't seen this. Unfortunately, this set is discontinued, but they're still out there floating around. I paid about $250 for this one. They also have like a Garden of More, which you can pick up for closer to like $150, sometimes like even $100, which is basically just half this set. And I'll show you the table and how everything's looking as we sort of like talk about some of the other options and everything that I was considering. But I basically was just a little bit short and didn't want to skimp out at the end. I had some options to potentially like 3D print some pieces or like craft some, but I figured I was this close to the end. I had invested a bunch of like time and money in the board, so I might as well go ahead and just pick up one more of these and finish it off. So this is the Sigmarite Mausoleum kit. Let's just flip it over here. It is super chunky. I mean, you can see how thick this thing is. It is loaded up. It's 2 full sets of the Garden of More. And here on the back, we see everything all together. Like, obviously this is super dense and like packed up to where you wouldn't even be able to play on it. It looks super cool and everything, but definitely would not recommend building it this way. But you can see just how much awesome detail this is. And the board itself, I'll show you what I got so far at the end. Looks absolutely amazing, and I'm really happy with it. So you basically get 2 of everything pictured. So 1 of everything pictured would be the Garden of More. 2 of everything pictured is the Sigmarite Mausoleum kit. And again, you can grab that Garden of More for about $100, this for about $200, but expect to pay closer to like $150 to like $250 because they're just getting so hard to get. So you get 1 of the small little buildings, 1 of the larger buildings, 1 of the like different little variants. Each one has like a base to it, and then you get the statue and then a base on that, and then you get 1 of the front gates. You get 2 of the big fence pieces, and then you get 1 each of like all the different fence pieces. And then everything I listed off, because this is the Sigmarite Mausoleum, is ×2. If it was a Garden of More, it would just be what's pictured right here. And I did actually try to order a set from somebody used, and everything looked good in the pictures. And then when it showed up, it was literally just like thrown in a box with a single sheet of bubble wrap. So by the time I got it, like literally everything was broken. So I ended up having to send it back. Finally got a refund from eBay, but it was a total nightmare dealing with. So definitely put a little delay on this project. And then also I've been really busy with the Escalation League. I was not expecting that, and that takes up a ton of time like every week. So let's go ahead and bust into this set. So if you've never picked up one of these before, it is an absolutely amazing set, and I hope one day Games Workshop will reprint it. It'll be like a little bit cheaper, but at least it'll be available again. So it comes with your instructions. It's pretty simple to assemble everything. Like most of the stuff is just a couple pieces. It does take a little bit of cleanup, but when it's all said and done, you can build like infinite amounts of like configurations. This is what one set would look like. And like I said, the picture on the back and everything is actually like 2 sets combined. And I would never assemble it like this because it's just packed too close together. You'd never be able to play on it. All right, so inside this box is a lot of plastic. We'll see exactly how many sprues. So first we have 2 of this exact same sprue, and then we have 2 more of that same sprue. So 4 of those. And then we have 2 each of the other sprues. So when it's all said and done, it's a total of 2, 2, and 4. So we have 8 total sprues in this set. And again, if you were picking up just the Garden of More, it would be 4 sprues. But here we can see this is the sprue you get 4 of. And it has this really nice like fence piece right here, which is going to be like the majority of your perimeter. And then the actual like way this sprue is laid out, if you have just 1 of these sprues, you can't actually like build anything. You need 2 of these sprues because each of these like building pieces is half of another building. So when you clip out all this, you basically build 1 each of the 3 buildings out of 2 of these. You also get like 1/2 of like the front little door. So again, you need 2 of those to make the front door. Pretty nice setup right here. Super cool sprue. Just tons and tons of detail on this. Just absolutely amazing. Okay, and then this one right here has all of the bases on it. So the big base right here is for the statue. And then this base right here is for that front fence piece. There's like a couple little gravestones and like topper pieces here. And then you can see each of the 3 buildings has like a different footprint. So this one is like the cross-shaped building. This one is the smaller building, and then here's the larger building. And you guys see in that mausoleum build that I did, I cut out a lot of like the inside pieces or some of like the actual like peripheral pieces around it, and then sort of like moved that around and created a little bit more like texture on a larger area. And really what that was all about is just trying to like spread this out as much as I could so that I didn't have like parts that were just nothing and then other parts that were like super loaded in detail. So it was essentially just me trying to like save a little bit of money and be crafty. But in the end, I ended up having to buy another set of this anyway. All right, and then this is the final piece in the set. And again, you're gonna get 2 of these, and that's gonna have the front and back of the statue right here. We've got like the grave topper for like the actual casket. We've got a couple more like gravestones. And then this one has like the majority of the actual fence pieces on it. So this is like the big like front gate, and then you put like 2 of those little front pieces in. You can glue them like open or closed, potentially magnetize it, I guess. And then we have like 1 fence piece that has like a built-in door to it. We have 1 of like the smaller brick pieces. We have 1 of like the larger brick pieces, which is basically like that one with a door built into it, and then an extra piece. And then we have 1 of the sort of like, I think it's about like a 45-degree angle, like curved brick piece. And then 1 of the small fences as well. And the cool thing about all this stuff is it's basically designed up so that if you put like this piece next to that one, you have like fence pieces every so often. And the same with like some of this other stuff. But obviously in some cases, depending on how you're building it, and like if you're doing stuff like front ways or back ways, because there is really good detail on the front and back of all these pieces, you may need to like cut off some of the pillar pieces and sort of like move them around depending on how specific you want to get. I did a little bit of that on like the large build. So very cool setup right here. Obviously tons and tons of detail. There's no detail on the backs of like this stuff, obviously, because this is the bases. So everything is meant to like sit on top of it. And then the majority of this sprue is going to be like the actual like insides of the buildings. So there's lots of like big openings, which allow you to see like the inside of these pieces, which is cool. And like once we put our lights in and everything like that, that detail on the inside is going to be really cool. Also, you guys see that in the initial building, I like cut up a bunch of these buildings and then used a ton of paper to like craft that big, large mausoleum centerpiece. But I just love the amount of like detail in this stuff. I love like the roses, all of the like super grim dark stuff going on here, like plants and roses and everything growing up on the buildings. And then of course like the tons and tons of skulls. You guys see with just like the little bits of like texture paste and everything that I've added to it, and then like various amounts of like foam and cardboard, I have created like that massive board. And we'll actually take a look at that and see the progress, because I've done quite a bit on it since our last video. But I did get hung up like waiting on this after the last debacle where I had to basically like buy that stuff. It showed up, it was all broken. I had to go through like a whole ordeal to return it. Finally got my money back, and then finally found this set right here. And to tell you the truth, I probably could have shopped around and got like a used set somewhere else if I just waited. But I was just getting impatient at that point in time. I saw this for sale. It wasn't the best deal, but now I have a ton of money invested in that big board. I'll have to go through at the end when I like show off, maybe in like the painting or like the completion video with the lights and everything, just how much time and money I invested in that, because it did get pretty pricey. And I could have done like a budget board or potentially done like a 3D printed version for like substantially cheaper. But let's jump over there and see where we're at. Okay, so you have to ignore like the blue kind of like overspray. I was doing a bunch of airbrushing right there and just didn't really care about it because I still have to like prime all that anyway. But as you can see, we basically have it like layered up now, so it's the full size. So what you're looking at right there is basically a 22 by 30 inch like Warcry / Kill Team size board, and it is 3 different levels. Like first we have like the ground level, which you can see just a little bit on the left and right in the front where those little pillars are sitting, and then we have 1 step up to like the main level, and that is like 90% of the board. And then the second level is like that riser in the middle with the 2 smaller buildings on it, and then the third level has like the mausoleum as like the highest up. Definitely using like this camera angle isn't the best for like showing off the actual like elevation and everything, but we'll do like a full video where we go into like a little more detail there. But the main thing I have to do right now is basically just put in some of the texture paste, sort of like grout on that main level in the front, and then I still have to add in like all of the actual like stonework and everything around all the small mausoleums on that level as well. So I'm getting pretty close to finishing it, but like I said, I was a few pieces short, so I needed a couple more of like the fence pieces and everything, which you can see I have like most of those in place now. Don't mind like the various colors on everything. Like I said, I did get some of these pieces used to save a couple bucks, but in the end, like buying stuff used just is not worth the trouble, especially with like delicate stuff like this. It ended up like delaying the project by weeks, and I would have been better off just buying stuff brand new from the beginning. But I'm not gonna lie, some of these old kits are like hard to find and definitely getting like ridiculously expensive. So this entire build setup is basically just all like foam, cardboard, grout, glue, and then it's like these mausoleum pieces, Citadel skulls, and like the ruined pillars from like the other like Sigmar set. The one I got like the actual like stairs themselves and the pillars from was called the Penumbral Stormvault, but there was like a couple different sets that had like a lot of the same pieces in it, and then you do end up with a lot of pieces anyway. But I have a ton of those stairs. I'll show off like some closer pictures of like some of the various components as we get closer in the next video. And then also as we get closer to the end, we'll show like some more crafting on it, how I run the lights, and then of course like the final product. But like I said, I've been really busy lately. Got a little bit delayed because of the new Escalation League that kind of popped up unexpectedly for 40k. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to take a look. And then of course like the whole little debacle with the used stuff and having to send that back and get a refund and all that, and then wait on this to arrive. But I will be doing some more work on this in the very near future and making some progress, so stay tuned for that. But just wanted to do like a little unboxing and just kind of show you guys where we're at with this build. It's coming along awesome, and when we switch camera angles and actually like move around and everything, you'll be legitimately impressed by like all the various elevation and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. If you enjoyed today's video, if you want to see how this build progresses, or you want to see how we got here, or if you just enjoyed this unboxing video, hopefully by now Tabletop Bros has earned your subscription. But yeah, that is the Sigmarite Mausoleum unboxing, also the Garden of More. But that's it from the Tabletop Bros. Later.